President Bush visited the Pentagon today and told officials of his intent to find the prime suspect in Tuesday's terrorist attacks, Osama bin Laden. Good evening and welcome to NewsCenter at 9:30. I'm Casey Cavall.
And I'm Chad Walling. President Bush made a stop at the Pentagon today. He greeted and thanked servicemen and women for their help with last Tuesday's events. President Bush is calling up as many as 35,000 reserve units of the Armed Forces and Coast Guard for active duty. The units will serve in a number of roles to maintain air defenses and to check shipping imports. They will also assist in engineering projects, helping to gather intelligence and to serve as chaplains. The president went on to say there will be no safe haven for Osama bin Laden anywhere in the world.
Osama bin Laden is just one person. He is representative of networks of people who absolutely have made their cause to defeat the freedoms that we understand, and we will not allow him to do so.
You want bin Laden dead?
I want him held. I want justice. And there's an old poster out west, as I recall, that said "Wanted, dead or alive."
President Bush suggests that there is a tradition of punishment from America's past that will apply to the terrorist leader. U.S. is gearing up for a possible war with Afghanistan. One Russian military official is warning the United States about the lessons he has learned with his country's bitter war with Afghanistan.
CNN Moscow Bureau Chief Jill Doherty talked to the official to get a glimpse of the struggle America may be getting into.
Here, more than 20 years ago, in the treacherous mountains of Afghanistan, Leo Karolkov fought a war like no other. His assignment was to train Soviet Special Operations Commandos, similar to America's Delta Force.
Modern weapons, rockets, laser-guided missiles, they're useless against these mountains.
Leo was there when Soviet troops moved into Afghanistan, and he was there when they left, after a decade of fighting and 15,000 dead.
I feel sorry for the people who are going to be thrown into those deserted mountainous regions where the enemy knows every single rock, every cave. No maps, no computer training can prepare you for it.
As for finding Osama bin Laden, Karolkov says there are a million places he could hide, just like the Mujahideen he and his men tried to find during their war. Diversionary tactics, terror, suicide attacks were the way the enemy achieved his aims. Leo says he saw Afghan fighters shot to ribbons, still clutching their weapons and firing until their last breath. Many of them, he says, used drugs before launching operations. But they were, he says, the most effective force he has ever seen, honed on 20 years of continual war. They were also well supplied with Stinger missiles provided by the Soviet Union's Cold War foe, the United States. Russia expected to stay a few months in Afghanistan. It ended up fighting for 10 years. It was a searing lesson, Leo says, that scarred Russia just as Vietnam tore at the soul of America. These fighters can bring any country, he says, even a superpower, be it Russia, the United States, or Europe, to the brink of catastrophe. Jill Doherty, CNN, Moscow.
What do you think about our country possibly going to war? That's what NewsCenter reporter Alex Santos asked students around campus today.
That whoever bombed this, whoever it was, are cowards, and that they should fess up to what they've done.
Well, I'm against war, but if it's what has to be done, then I say do it.
I believe we should be more technical. I believe that, first of all, we should find a person who's out there who's doing it and who's the culprit of it, and arrest them and punish them for that.
The markets resumed trading for the first time today since the terror attacks on Tuesday, although selling was the key component in today's market activities. With airlines, hotels, and leisure-related stocks taking big hits, volume was described as record-breaking. The Dow Jones Industrial Average had his worst single-day point drop ever, with its average falling near 685 points. The Nasdaq plummeted almost 116 points, or close to 7%. For its lowest close since October of 1998.
Over 1,000 of Ball State's students and faculty members gathered in the terrace on Friday for a memorial service in honor of those who lost their lives in last week's tragedy.
NewsCenter photojournalists Doug Moon and Sunny Wingler were there to capture some of the sights and sounds.
I've got my tape.
Today we gather here in this beautiful campus place to honor and remember our fellow citizens who were lost this week in a horrible tragedy. We remember and we grieve over the horror we have watched unfold on our television screens and read about every day. We remember and we mourn because of the senseless loss of life in New York City and in our nation's capital.
We must remember those who have lost their lives. We must remember the volunteers who are giving their time to help those that have never been met. We're not alone. We must continue to console each other, talk with each other, and work not as individuals, but as one nation, undivided, to preserve our freedom.
We remember and we pray that this time of national reflection will help all Americans to heal and to unite in common purpose to defend the freedom of opinion, which means so much to our way of life. And finally, we remember the loss of our own innocence as we realize that in many ways, unknown to us today, our lives will never be the same again.
Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord lift his countenance upon you and give you peace. And give you peace. And give you peace. And give you peace. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. And be gracious. The Lord be gracious, gracious unto you.
News Center's reporter Kyla Williamson talked to Ball State students regarding Friday's vigil.
They sung, but also with the band playing and so many people coming just from their free will, just coming.
I thought it was really good how the community came together, Greek and residence halls, everybody came together as one, kind of like the country has come together and show support for what we're going through right now.
Especially to see everybody, different age ranges, and everybody come out. It was a great experience. I really enjoyed it.
Enrollment has increased and students have been forced to live in study lounges.
We now take you to reporter Jim Vandy live in the Update Center with more on this story.
Thanks, Chad. Odds are you've probably noticed a crowded gym, longer lines in the dining room, and student parking lots completely occupied. And there's a good reason for it. Ball State enrollment has gradually increased the past few years, and this year, a record number of freshmen and returning students are living in the dorms. As a result, students were assigned to live in the study lounges. I spoke to some students who had the privilege to live in those vacant study lounges.
I live in Clevenger in the study lounge. I kind of like it. It's a pretty big room. I got new furniture.
And it's not fair to the other people in the hall. It's not fair to me because they don't like me now because I live in the study lounge.
Complained, but assistant housing and resident life officials are happy everyone has a place to stay.
Being able to house all the students in regular rooms. I think something that has been a bit of a misperception is some students were in floor lounges, but those were actually floor lounges that used to be student rooms, and we had just converted them to lounges because we had the space.
Thanks, Jim.
Also added a study last year showing students who live in residence halls generally have a higher GPA than those who don't. Currently, there are no new plans to build a new residence hall.
Thanks, Jim. Now we'll go to Milan Willie with an update for the weather.
Yeah, we had a nice day here today with the weather. Is that something that we should expect later on in the week?
Well, you know what? We had a nice day today, nice sunshine, calm temperatures, fall-like temperatures, showing us that fall is on the way. But for tonight, the rain is going to come in because of this weak upper air disturbance that we have in our area, and that's going to give us a chance of some showers tonight. It's going to be partly cloudy with a low of 58 with our wind south at 4 miles per hour. But I'll have the rest of your forecast in just a few.
Thanks, Mom.
When we come back, we'll join Joe McFerrin in the Update Center.
In tomorrow's edition of the Ball State Daily News, we'll bring you more on the football team's decision to host Northern Iowa on Saturday. Also, we'll tell you about recent meningitis cases on Ball State's campus, and we'll profile journalism's professional in residence, Michelle Lynn Gust, who will speak tomorrow night. Back to you, Chad and Casey.
Thank you, Joe McFerrin from the Ball State News. And coming up on NewsCenter at 9:30, a scary situation in one Midwest airport.
Also, we'll have the latest look at your local forecast. Stay with us.
In East Central Indiana, there is only one place to turn for local news.
About 2 million Serbian residents.
Ball State has gained national attention.
NewsCenter 43.
America's
and Rule 7. We're okay on time now, guys.
Clouds begin to form.
Muncie only live TV newscast.
Reporting live.
Only live.
On Saturday as we go to the
An
highlight.
official CNN Student Bureau. NewsCenter 43, Monday through Thursday at 5:30 and 9:30 on First Channel 43.
The trial got underway today for a Cincinnati police official who was accused of killing an unarmed black man. The fatal shooting is what prompted the city of Cincinnati to riot back in April. Prosecutors stated Officer Roach did not consider other means of stopping the fleeing Thomas before resorting to shooting him. A fellow officer, Chris Schroeder, testified today that he was present during the shooting but did not see what would have prompted Roach to shoot Thomas. The defense said Roach felt threatened after seeing Thomas reach for his waistband. Roach is charged with negligent homicide and obstructing official business and could get 9 months in prison if convicted.
3 people were removed from an American Airlines flight today at Chicago's O'Hare International Airport. An FBI spokesperson says 2 men and 1 woman reportedly had locked themselves in the airliner's lavatories. American Airlines Flight 528 landed safely and nobody was hurt. Indianapolis-based American Transair plans to lay off 1,600 of its 2,400 employees nationwide. Flights were grounded for 2 days last week, and the airline is dealing with a declining number of passengers due to last Tuesday's terrorist attacks. The airline was already in talks earlier this month to eliminate an unspecified number of people due to the slow economy. Also in Virginia, U.S. Airways is also blaming job cuts on the terror strikes. The airline says it plans to lay off 11,000 workers and cut flight capacity by 23%. The Marion County Urban Search and Rescue Team should head for home on Wednesday. The 62-person team was sent to assist in rescue efforts at the World Trade Center. One firefighter, 43-year-old Stephen Tardif of the Pike Township Department, suffered first and second-degree burns yesterday while working through debris on the site where the Twin Towers once stood. He was taken to a Manhattan hospital and released several hours later.
The Lumina Foundation for Education, an Indianapolis organization, has pledged $3 million in college scholarships for the spouses and children of people who were killed or disabled in the attacks. $2 million will go outright, along with another $1 million in matching funds to encourage individual donations. The foundation is also looking to raise money from corporations and other groups. Lumina was created with sale proceeds when Sallie Mae, a leading private lender, bought most of the loan server USA Group. And now we will go to Milan Willie with a look at the weather.
Okay, it's going to be a beautiful day tomorrow if we don't get that rain in here, but I'll have the complete forecast after the break. We have had a beautiful day today, a nice fall-like day today. We had bright sunshine out there. We had some clouds that came in more so in the afternoon, but they moved out of our area and the sun came back. For our high today, we got to 77 degrees. Our normal high is 75, meaning we are 2 degrees above normal. Not hitting any records or anything, but still we're above normal for today. Our low this morning was at 46 degrees. As we take a look at our highs around Indiana, in a minute we'll see, look, South Bend got up to 70 degrees. Evansville topped off the map at 81 degrees for the highs around Indiana. As we take a look at what's going on out there currently, it's currently cloudy out there, and our temperature is 62 degrees. Our winds are kind of calm with our humidity at 80%. Taking a look at our national satellite, we see we have a lot of cloud cover, more so in the central part of the U.S., but the area in which we're going to be looking at and concentrating on is Kansas, where they've been getting some severe weather in their area and some tornado watches also in their area. So as we look at our radar, we'll see how they're getting most of the rain in the U.S. We have a little rain, more so over the Great Lakes states, and that rain is going to be coming down into our area, but nothing as of right now. But as we zoom into our area, we're going to see on the regional radar that nothing really is going on. The storms are more so to the north of us, and those storms with the low pressure system that's with that are going to be coming into our area more so tonight leading into tomorrow morning. But as of right now, nothing really going on. For tonight, we also see this cold front. Now, this is this low pressure system I was talking about, and this is what's going to be sparking up most of our storms. And as we look at this other low pressure system that they're having over Kansas, this is what's giving them their severe weather. But for us for tonight, we're going to be just kind of calm out there. We may have some showers because of this upper air disturbance that we're going to get. But as we take a look at the next graphic, we see our lows for tonight are going to be in the 50s more so in our area. We're going to see some 40s. Look at those 40s up there in the western area. They're really going to be chilly for tonight leading into tomorrow morning. But for us, we're just going to be in the upper 50s. As we take a look at for tonight, it's going to be mostly cloudy. And again, a chance of showers because of that upper air disturbance. But it's a weak upper air disturbance, so we may not get the storms until maybe more so tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. But our low for tonight will be at 58 degrees. As we look at tomorrow morning when you wake up, it'll be partly sunny. So when you get out there tomorrow morning, don't let it deceive you because the rain is coming more so by the afternoon leading into the evening. Our temperature will be at 61 degrees tomorrow morning. As we look at this cold front that was over our area, we see that it kind of joined with this other cold front that was over the Kansas area. And this low pressure system is where a lot of the storms will be developing for tomorrow and leading into like the rest of the week. By next Friday, that's when the storms will be moving up. As we see 60s in our area for our highs for tomorrow. As we take a look at what's going to be going on for tomorrow, we see that mostly just 60s. And for tomorrow, as we look at our next graphic, we see that we'll be getting up partly sunny. Our rain will be late with the high of 77 degrees for tomorrow. And as we take a look at our 3-day, look at that. More so in the 70s for the rest of the week. We're going to be getting some rain on Wednesday and Thursday, but by Friday, nice bright sunshine should be coming back into our area. So something to look forward to for the weekend.
All right, it looks like we're still going to have a little bit of nice weather ahead then.
After the rain, yeah.
Good.
Now we have going to Tom Kozrowski with sports. How's Ball State looking for this weekend?
Well, I think we're going to finally play a football game, so that'll be nice. The schedule was jumbled up today, but athletics got it done, so I'll have that, and plus baseball has returned to the diamond. I'll have highlights of the Cardinals and Brewers. All that and more when the NewsCenter at 9:30 returns. And with Western Michigan choosing to head to Ann Arbor this weekend instead of hosting the Cardinals, athletics officials were sent scrambling Sunday and Monday to find someone to fill in the gap. Missing another weekend of football was not an option, so the coaches and staff hit the phones and the internet, checking and double-checking schedules, looking for any opening from any team. With only 2 dates to work with, the search became a much more difficult task, as Coach Lynch contacted 15 teams in the struggle to find an opponent until they finally found a winner in northern Iowa. Athletics Director Andrea Seeger says the struggle to find someone to play was difficult, but they had many options, while Coach Lynch is just glad to be playing on Saturday.
Institutions, anytime we had a lead about an institution that might have an opening, we made that call, and we had a couple of people out there on hold that I won't discuss, but on hold in case the northern Iowa situation didn't pan out.
In our mind, it was important that we played this weekend. because I think our kids need to play this weekend. I think kids all across the country need to play this weekend.
And that game will be at Ball State Stadium at 2 p.m. on Saturday. And it's beginning to be a trend in the men's basketball program. Yet another castaway. The latest to break away from the team is Corey Harris. This after the team lost Josh Murray, Cedric Moody, and Raul Marshall just last spring. Harris signed his release papers on Friday, leaving him the fourth player to leave the team in less than a year. NewsCenter caught up with assistant coach Tracy Webster, who says his decision came without notice.
It was like a shock in a way. I mean, we knew that he was going to have to do some work to get in that rotation or whatever, but I mean, anything is possible. And maybe if he would have stuck it out, then you just never know.
And the Ball State women's basketball team has announced their schedule for the 2001-2002 season. Heading this schedule this year, National Power UConn on November 30th. They're preseason number 1. In addition to the game at Connecticut, the Florida International Classic, BSU will travel to Los Angeles, California for the Loyola Marymount Thanksgiving Classic in November, and they'll host the Hoosier State Classic in December. The Cardinals will open in the Mid-American Conference play January 2nd at Central Michigan. And echoing the sentiments to the American people by President Bush to return to our normal lives, Major League Baseball reopened for business today with a 6-game slate. With the pennant races alive again, the Cardinals took on the Brewers tonight at Busch. It's a touching ceremony before the game tonight. Police and firefighters were honored as Hall of Famer Jack Buck told the crowd it was time to return to baseball. There's a Hall of Famer Jack. A 21 aerial bomb salute was the Cardinals go on to, the Brewers go on to beat the Cardinals tonight. And I believe that's a look at sports.
Thanks
All
a lot.
right, thanks, Tom.
Thanks a lot, Tom.
It looks like sports is starting to get back into the swing of things this week.
Yep, finally.
Good.
About time.
All right. We'll be right back.